Hi everyone, it's Maggie again. In this sequence, we're going to think together about one of the hardest issues in bioethics. How should we morally think about abortion? Now, it's also one of the most complex issues in bioethics. In this first segment, I want to take a look at some of the elements we're going to be exploring, some helpful tools and distinctions that philosophy gives us, whatever side we're on with this issue, so that we can have a deeper and more fruitful conversation. All right, there are two fundamental halves of the abortion issue. One is how to think morally about early human life, the human embryo or fetus, and the fact that that fetus develops inside a girl or woman. That's the second half. Okay, let's start with the embryo or early fetus. Now, when debating questions about the morality of abortion, conversations often start with the question, when does life begin? But we are going to need to refine the question if we're going to explore it more carefully. For one thing, it's not life per se we're interested in. Algae, lettuce plants are all life, nor even human life. My bone marrow is comprised of living cells that have human DNA in them. Everyone agrees the human embryo is a set of living human cells. Second, and more deeply, putting the question that way makes it sound like it's a question for science to answer. And to be sure, there are any number of fascinating scientific questions we want to make sure we get right here. When might a biologist regard the set of cells as sufficiently organized to count as an organism? When do various bodily systems become functional and the like? But we could agree on every fact that biologist stipulates and still disagree on the moral question about what kind of claim a given creature so described has on us. To answer this question, philosophers have come up with a concept called moral status. A creature is said to have moral status if there are restrictions on killing it or using it for our own purposes, grounded directly in the nature of that creature. Moral status is about the constraints it presents on us directly in its own right. So if I kill your plants after promising to take care of them while you're out of town, I've done something wrong. But what makes my actions wrong isn't anything about the plant per se. It's not as though there's anything immoral about my casually uprooting the grass in my garden. Instead, it's the promise I made to you. You are who I wronged, not the plant. In contrast, if we think of the moral status that you yourself have, well, we believe there's an extremely strong constraint against killing you or causing you suffering or experimenting on you without your consent, whatever others may think. One reason I might be wrong there is because I would cause suffering to those who love you, but far more centrally, doing so would be wrong because of what it does to you. Now, the kind of moral status you have is very strong. It grounds a near absolute right against being killed. This is called full moral status. Moral status also might be the sort of thing that comes in degrees. For instance, many believe that certain high cognition non-human animals, think elephants, dolphins, great apes, might have some lesser but still important claim against our killing them. It would take strong reason to justify that, but reasons that would fall short of what it would take to make it permissible to kill you. Call that partial moral status. One of the deepest reasons people disagree about the morality of abortion is because they disagree about what moral status to accord a human fertilized egg or embryo or early fetus. Some believe it has full moral status. Some, no moral status until later in gestation. It might still have a kind of symbolic value, but no constraints grounded in the nature of the embryo or fetus itself. And still others believe that early human life has partial moral status, less than a paradigmatic person, but more than just symbolic value.